the lengthy flight. Barbeau said all who were hospitalized were in stable condition and none were in need of extreme medical attention. The flu's incubation period, the interval between exposure to the virus and the emergence of symptoms, is typically 1 to 7 days, and people who are infected can be contagious before showing signs of illness. Flu is transmitted through respiratory secretion spread by coughing or sneezing. These are then inhaled by others or picked up from surfaces on a person's hands and rubbed into the eyes, nose, or mouth. The Emirates airliner, with at least 521 passengers, landed at John F. Kennedy International Airport at mid-morning and was surrounded by dozens of emergency vehicles as anxious passengers waited to be evaluated by health officials. The airline and the mayor's office said 19 people were confirmed ill. Dubai-based Emirates said 3 passengers and 7 crew members went to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center in Queens, and 9 other passengers were medically evaluated at the scene and released afterwards. CDC spokesman Benjamin Haynes later said 11 people were taken to the hospital and that the 9 others confirmed as sick declined further medical care. The remainder of the passengers were allowed to leave and clear customs, according to the airline. All were advised to call a doctor if they developed symptoms later. Barbeau said 106 people initially reported feeling sick during the flight, but the vast majority were found to be free of any illness when screened. Haynes said it was also possible that the tally of confirmed cases was limited to those whose symptoms were most obvious. Still, Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis, New York's Deputy Commissioner for Disease Control, said it was rare for so many people aboard a single commercial flight to fall ill at once. The plane, a double-deck Airbus 380 that ranks as the world's largest passenger aircraft, was taken to a location away from the terminal so emergency officials could evaluate the situation. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, "Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic." Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Readers rejoice! This week, Amazon unveiled the Kindle Flair, the latest model of their popular e-reader. The improved device has the ability to loudly and repeatedly announce the title of the book you're reading so everyone knows how smart you are.
Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut.
The hot new e-reader includes a massive catalog of titles, a sleek, easy-to-use interface, and a loud, clear voice that barks the name and author of your book on a loop. Amazon says the repetitive shouting is a small feature that makes a big difference. Readers say that with crystal clear 150 decibel stereo speakers, the Flair provides the most conspicuous reading experience yet. When you're not reading, the Flair automatically switches into bookshelf mode, which conserves power and reads off a list of everything on your Kindle.
Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, a confederacy of dunces.
And Amazon's competition has also stepped up their game as Apple released a new iPad that whispers, "I have an iPad," over and over again.
This is the Onion News Network.
Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in lines here momentarily where you can call in and join us. The us in studio tonight is me, Daryl.
And Chris.
And Chris, you've actually got a fairly interesting, not quite dumb criminal story, but something fairly close to that. And no, it's not out of Florida. Because generally these stupid things happen, Florida man, blah-da-da-da-da.
It's a common refrain, I will say that.
Yes.
But sometimes these stories sneak up the Atlantic coast a little bit.
Yes.
And in this question, it's just 2 states up the coast. But this comes to us from Reason.com, and this comes to us from the wonderful state of North Carolina. The huge North Carolina fentanyl bust, which made news, turned out to be something else.
Yeah, so don't give away what that something else is. Let's jump into the story.
I didn't. In July, New Hanover County's Sheriff's Department made a big fuss over a huge fentanyl bust. Sheriff Ed McMahon proudly boasted, quote, one of the targeted largest seizures in the state, unquote, after the NHCSO's gang task force seized an estimated $2 million worth of the deadly opioid fentanyl, unquote, during a raid.
$2 million worth of fentanyl. Now, I don't know what the street price is.
I don't know how you'd even count that. I guess people do buy fentanyl, just straight fentanyl, and I guess some dealers do cut their other opiates with fentanyl.
This is what the price of a gram is. We have this much, so then you multiply, and therefore math.
It could be they were multiplying the average dosage for Halloween candy, because this is about the time of year we start hearing about drug dealers spiking Halloween candy with fentanyl. That'll be a story. I was always told that it's
like weed edibles. Now, I don't know if you saw the tweet, but it was absolutely hilarious, where some TV station had their scaremonger thing where it showed a picture of some gummy candies, and it says, "Parents, watch out. Drug dealers are going to be, giving out gummy candies." And some guy responds, "Nobody's giving away that much free weed."
Exactly.
Do you know how, hold on.
Yeah. No, honestly.
Do you know how much? And call in 855-450-FREE. Do you know how much a gummy costs that is a cannabis edible with approximately 5 milligrams of cannabis?
I don't. I have no concept, and I've never been to a dispensary or anything like that where these things would be sold. So I'm going to say a gummy. I'm going to call it a dose.
Right.
So in my mind,
approximately 5 milligram, which is a small dose.
I don't know what that means, but I'm going to say somewhere between $5 and $10.
You'd actually be a little high. So
okay.
And I don't mean that in the sense of after you eat the gummy, you're a little high.
Right.
No, so the dispensary that I went to in Denver a couple of years ago, I think most of their gummies in that 5 milligram range between $3 to $5.
Okay. Well, that's a dosage.
$5 would be the higher end of that.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's probably some place where it could go as high as 10 for that size gummy.
Or 10 milligrams or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So
I just know what my dose is. So I know what, my price is for a dose.
Yeah, kind of like I know how much, I know what a 6-pack of the beers I like cost.
About $14 because you only drink good beer?
I would say on the low end, around, in New Hampshire anyway, somewhere between 9 and 15 or 20. I've had some good beers.
Go to the craft brew store?
Occasionally.
All right.
And I'll put I won't put a plug out there, but I will say Brewtopia is a great name for a little craft brew shop.
Yeah, so let's get back into this story out of North Carolina, where a gang force, and yes, I intentionally left out a word from their official name, they wound up stealing what they thought was $2 million worth of fentanyl. Turns out they couldn't be wronger.
Yep. Well, and also the 3 Wilmington residents were arrested as a result. Quote, "When you think about this poison, this fentanyl, 1 grain can kill you," unquote, McMahon said. Quote, "Our detectives are having to gear up with all the safety equipment before we go in. Once they get in, if we find something, equipment or anything, any kind of drugs we think is going to be fentanyl, we stop. We have to get our CSI team to come out, and we test that in a lab under specific conditions. So we do all that. It makes it much more dangerous for our local law enforcement officers," unquote.
All right, so I'm picturing these guys, whenever they see any white powder, go put on the hazmat suits.
Call the people who have the hazmat suits.
Call in the CSI team.
Yep.
CSI, Wilmington County. Like, is that going to be the next thing on NBC? Like, that's the next big hit series?
Maybe.
CSI, Wilmington.
Maybe not after this article.
So this will be more like Reno 911.
There we go.
Wilmington 911.
Now we're getting there. Yeah, and I've heard law enforcement officers, even in my small town, and I've been involved in emergency management and things like that. The big thing right now is to trot out a vial full of heroin, and then they'll show it next to a vial filled with some other opioid that's even stronger. And then it'll be like half full.
Right.
And then they'll show like 3 grains of something inside of the same size vial that is supposedly fentanyl, and this is how much could kill you. Months after McMahon made his alarming statements, Lieutenant Jerry Brewer announced that a private lab found the, quote, fentanyl was actually, quote, combination of simple and complex carbohydrates. In other words, sugar.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the bag that said, Domino, and all the word sugar written on it in large text didn't give it away. Like,
drug dealers use words like Domino's it's like their trademark. Yo, man, you got any Domino's for me?
But that is that big 5-pound bag of sugar, Domino sugar.
We're out, man. But I got some Splenda. You're gonna love this stuff. Unreal.
So how much was it? Like 13 pounds of sugar.
Yeah, the false positive came from a field test kit used by CSI in the bust. The field test kit was invented and administered by the Scott Company Drug Testing, which was founded by a retired DEA agent and forensic chemist. According to its website, the field test kit, quote, reacts that reagents that have held up in court since 1978. The company also assures the integrity of officers and their investigations. Despite this promise, Brewer confirmed that it was, in fact, possible for the field test equipment to make false identification of fentanyl, as it had in this case.
So now I'm curious. How often do these field test kits show false positives?
Yes, and this isn't just about, and here we're talking about something very specific. We're talking about fentanyl and the Scott brand drug testing field administration kit.
Right.
But we have seen case after case after case. Do you remember the couple it was in Pennsylvania. They were driving back. They got pulled over. There was some white powder in the vehicle. They tested it, and it turned out to be soap. After the labs got back to it, but it tested positive for cocaine during the field test result. There's been other cases where, again, complex carbohydrates, i.e. sugar. In one case, a girl was insistent that the only thing that had been in the car were a box of donuts, and it turned out to be glaze from a donut. And that landed her in jail for, however many days it took until they could get all of this settled down.
Yeah, how long is it going to be before some of these things that consistently wind up failing are just thrown out and can't be used because they are not reliable? 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at anypay.global. That's anypay.global.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. 855-450-3733. It's Daryl.
And Chris.
And we're talking about the bust of 13 pounds of sugar in North Carolina. And the cops are saying, well, we used this field test and there was a false positive and it's not our fault. And there's actually a 4-page press release, or not press release per se, but some kind of... Yep, it is titled Official Press Release from the Scott Company Drug Testing, and there's a little bit in that I found very interesting. We'll dig into and continue this article for Reason here in just a second, but before we do, I want to make sure that I tell you about a website that a lot of libertarians have wanted for a long time, and that is a directory of liberty-minded businesses. We're helping to build one. It's liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp, and there's also a bit of a social networking aspect where you can connect and share with other users. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu. And if you use code FTL, you get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. Liberty.menu, code FTL.
Yeah, so we're talking about this huge pre-Halloween sugar bust in North Carolina. How about it, Daryl? I mean, who's going to keep our kids safe from sugar?
Well, apparently not the government, because Oh, wait, no, they might because there's the soda taxes.
There we go. Yeah.
But that's actually, most of the sodas don't have sugar. They have
corn syrup,
which is kind of a sugar substitute that is kind of like sugar, but it's not sugar.
Sorry, it's got a little different chemical makeup. Personally, I'm an aspartame junkie, so I prefer my poison well named. Aspartame's just much better than corn syrup.
So, Chris, read that last half paragraph real quick again out of this Reason article.
Talking about the false positive?
Yeah, about the false positive done by the CSI team.
Yeah. So, basically what these guys do down in North Carolina is they go in and, my God, we see some white powder, and it's so deadly out there, Daryl, with the fentanyl on the street.
If you even look at a grain of it, it will kill your entire family.
It could happen, Daryl. So what they do is the second they see anything, then they call in, they get the hazmat suits in, they call in their CSI, Special Investigative Unit, and they go in and they put on the yellow suits and they do all this stuff. And one of the things that they'll do in the field is they will use a field test kit, and this gets used all the time for all sorts of different drugs. In this case, the field test kit was invented and administered by the Scott Company Drug Testing, which was founded by a retired DEA agent and forensic chemist. According to its website, the field test kit uses reagents that have been held up in court since 1978. Company also assures the integrity of officers and their investigations. Despite the promise, Brewer confirmed that it was in fact possible for the field test kit to make a false identification as fentanyl, as it had in this case. And I went over and looked at their website a little bit too.
Excellent. You're looking at the website. I'm looking at this press release.
Right.
And one thing that is interesting, and I've got all kinds of questions about the validity of these tests, knowing that the guy that runs the company says, yeah, it's possible that there's a false positive. And in this press release, they say in item number 6 under something, while we are aware of some substances that can, under certain circumstances, because of the reasons mentioned above, produce a false positive result in a select few of our tests, we will only disclose these to law enforcement so as to prevent the adulteration of substances in an effort to mask, misidentify, or mislead officers, or to purposely reduce by altering the chemical content of the substance with other chemicals to either mask the substance or through any other means alter the substance as to compromise the results of the field test.
So that just sounds like paranoia to me, Daryl.
Well, not only that, but again, going back into my, defendant mindset or defense attorney thinking, wait a second, that these can produce false positive tests.
Right.
Well, as part of discovery on behalf of my client, I want you to tell me everything that you know of that can produce a false positive.
And they will say, no, that's protected under our agreement with law enforcement or something like that. Here's what I found striking
I'm just trying to think of all the ways that a defense attorney could present to a judge or a jury reasonable doubt that their test is flawed, their test should not be admitted in court as evidence, because they admit that their test is flawed.
Right.
Just like the little drug dogs should never be allowed in court because we know how many times they are wrong.
Because they like sugar too, and they will sniff out a box of donuts.
No. Those drug dogs will do whatever they think the handler wants them to do.
They will respond to positive reinforcement, and that can be subconscious on behalf of the handler.
Right. So
the handler may do a certain thing right before he reaches into his pocket to pull out a treat. It may be he looks slightly to his right and then reaches into his pocket to pull out a treat. A dog is smart enough to pick up on that stuff. Right. Now, I was just talking about dogs and treats, and if you turn around, Daryl, you'll see Jazzy, the studio dog, looking up at me longingly because I said or did something.
You said that word she likes.
The T word.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so there you go. But look at her. I mean, she just has her ears perked up. She's laying back down now. But it was definitely that thing. Here's what catches me about the Scott Company. To me, Daryl, if I were going to challenge this stuff, the first thing I would do is I would go to the Scott Company and I'd say, I want one of your test kits.
I want to buy one of your test
want
kits.
to buy.
I'm sorry, we don't sell these to anyone that's not a law enforcement
right,
agency.
And that is the big. When you go on products, they won't even talk about it. They will say,
it's like
additionally, if any order placed by non-law enforcement personnel will not be processed, additionally, you are affirming that you are currently a duly sworn or duly commissioned municipal, county, parish, state, tribal, or federal law enforcement agent, and that this test will be used as intended in full accordance with local, state, blah, 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 blah ordinances. If you are not currently a duly sworn blah, 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 then you may be subject to prosecution of a felony under various local, county, state, federal laws, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because you're impersonating yourself to a stupid company.
Yeah.
And this is insane. I hope that a little bit of traction gains based on this story and other stories to start going after these field test kit manufacturers.
Right,
they should answer.
This is something else. The next time there's legislation before any government agency on preventing things being purchased that aren't available on open market, we should talk about these things, not just Bearcats.
Right.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450 free.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey I need a job, and those who simply ooze, I want to work, especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in I'll take anything mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Daryl.
And Chris.
And, we also have some Discord call-in lines. Chris, you use the Discord more than I do. Would you like to explain what the Discord is?
Oh, thanks, Daryl. You love to just let me explain this
Discord
thing called Discord.
The Discord thing.
Yeah, Discord is it's a server-based product, and it's now available. It kind of grew up during the gaming era. Online gamers would create like their own server, and then they could talk amongst themselves. And now Discord's kind of opened itself up to all sorts of different things, including LRN.FM and Free Talk Live and things like that. So you can go in there. You can take part in many text chat rooms that are there, and they're always active and vibrant. But there's also voice chat, so you can chat with other listeners while you listen to the show. There's a listen line, so you can actually just listen to the audio stream there, and you can actually call into our show, which is really cool and really high quality.
Yep, and as long as you have a halfway decent microphone, a decent internet connection, and a pair of headphones. I cannot stress that enough, because there are people that call in trying to listen back through the speakers on their laptop or speakers, connected to something, and that's how you get echoes and feedback. For the love of everything that is good audio, have headphones. Discord.lrn.fm or discord.freetalklive.com. So we've been talking about this big, huge, giant bust of $2 million worth of fentanyl that was actually 13 pounds of sugar down in Wilmington, North Carolina. And again,
what's the sugar cost, though? Daryl, 13 pounds, what's sugar? A couple bucks a pound now? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I know I mentioned, a Domino's bag of sugar, but I honestly don't know what sugar cost.
I do know that the price of sugar is way out of whack with what the world market is, because here in the United States we tariff and we protect our sugar growers.
Like the two guys in Honolulu or something?
There's two guys in Honolulu, and I think there's some, and it's only sugar. It's only cane sugar.
There might be a few guys down in Puerto Rico and the American Virgin Islands.
I want to say Florida and along the south there may be some sugar cane growers, but yeah, big time protectionism, big time skewing of that sugar price. I looked into that one time, and it was something like double average worldwide costs.
Right, but again, because sugar is so cheap, it's one of those things that, it's not necessarily worth it for anybody to try fighting to, hey, Congress, repeal this thing. But the handful of producers, they make enough money on it to where they can afford to hire those lobbyists to go make sure we wind up getting our extra money, even though all that extra money goes to hire the lobbyists to make sure that we get the extra money or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, the interesting thing here is that this field test kit that the company that sells says, well, the courts have held these things up since 1978. That doesn't mean diddly squat.
Right.
If you acknowledge, and they do, that, quote, some substances can result in false positive, but we're not going to say what those substances are because then people can somehow manipulate and change the chemistry or something.
Reverse engineer their product. I mean, it just makes no sense.
It gives so much reasonable doubt as to the validity of this test that this test should be thrown out and never be allowed to be introduced again. Just like in a lot of states, they've gone so far as to say that polygraphs can't be used because they are so easily flawed.
Right.
There are other things that at one time were allowed. There's a certain type of witness identification that I forget exactly what it's called, but I've heard this numerous times on the Wrongful Conviction podcast. It's about people that have been wrongly convicted, where there's some type of witness identification to where the witness is sitting on the stand and the prosecution will say, "Do you see the defendant sitting at the table?" "Yes." "Thank you. You have just identified the defendant." That doesn't mean that the defendant actually did the thing. That just means that they were able to say, yeah, the guy sitting at the table over there next to the defense attorney is the defendant.
Yeah, is that courtroom ID? Is that what they call that?
Yeah, it's some form of that, which that's been thrown out, and you can't actually do that.
Right. I rest my case.
Yeah. Let it be noted that they pointed to the guy that I told them to point to.
Exactly.
So, what else is in this story here from Reason?
This is not much, really, but it goes on to tell another horror story. This is not the first time a false positive in a field test kit led to a drug arrest, and we know there's many of them. Another example is a 65-year-old retiree, Daniel Rushing, was awarded $37,500 from the city of Orlando after being pulled over in a traffic stop by police. An officer used a field test kit to test the white substance present in his vehicle. After officers first tried to identify the substance as crack cocaine, they eventually arrested Rushing for the possession of methamphetamine, quote, with a weapon, despite the fact that he had legally possessed a concealed carry in his vehicle.
See, it doesn't matter if you legally possess the firearm. If you have drugs and a weapon, that's a felony in and of itself.
Yep. A lab test later revealed the suspicious white substance was glaze from the donuts Rushing ate in his vehicle. So, like I said, I mean, we look for this stuff.
So now he's impersonating a cop.
That's right. That's right.
He's
now,
got a gun. He's eating donuts in his car.
He may be ordering field test kits, as far as we know.
Yeah. Going online to the Scott Company drug testing website, and didn't you say that it says that if you buy this and you're not a law enforcement officer, you'll be prosecuted as impersonating an officer?
Felonies and all sorts of things. But these are not the only stories Daryl and I have heard about this.
Yeah.
These usually come up a few times a year, and it's not always marijuana. It's not always cocaine. Sometimes, in this case, it's fentanyl. This is the first one I've seen talking about fentanyl and opioids, at least this year. But these things happen all the time. And when they happen in the real world, folks, not just saying, I don't think we should allow opiates on our streets, protect our children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What you have to remember, what you have to remind yourself is one of these tests goes wrong, real people get their lives destroyed.
Right.
And I hope it didn't occur in this example, but just imagine if your picture was on the front page of your local newspaper and the headline underneath it was massive fentanyl bust. You know, $2 million worth, your picture right there, and then you haven't even been to court, right? You got charged, but immediately you're not going to get bail. You've got $2 million worth of fentanyl. No judge is going to let you out. You're going to rot in jail.
And then there's the bias that when you do finally go to a jury, assuming you don't wind up taking a plea,
right?
Because they incentivize you to take a plea. Listen, you've got 20 bazillion pounds of what we are saying is fentanyl here.
Right.
We're going to throw you under the jail if you get found guilty by this jury, or you say you're guilty and 6 months you go home.
Or we do a year.
Time served.
Right.
You've already been sitting in for 5 months. It's going to be another month before everything's done in court.
Just call it done.
We'll give you time served, call it done. You say I'm guilty, you go home.
Yeah, and if you don't think that kind of thing...
If you don't say you're guilty, you go in wearing your prison orange.
Right, stripes.
The jury, well, now it's normally orange.
Right.
The jury is going to see, here's some guy already in prison suit. He must be guilty.
Right.
They don't care what the evidence is.
And is your job...
You are guilty.
Your boss going to let you back to work after all that?
No! 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. Call in with whatever is on your mind. This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Buying a home should be one of life's best experiences, but today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher payments. And that can turn a great experience into an anxious one. At Quicken Loans, we've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. It's called the Power Buying Process. We check your income, assets, and credit to provide you with a verified approval, which can give you the strength of a cash buyer. Once verified, you qualify for our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days while you find your new home. Then, once you've found your new home, if rates have gone up, your rate stays locked. But if rates have gone down, your rate drops, and you get to keep that new lower rate. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Free Talk Live.
One of the counselor's excuses for her behavior after call accused her of engaging in stealing. This is stealing. You're taking something from somebody who believed they owned something, and by all evidence did own something. You're taking it from them. And as you say, Mark, this goes on all across the country. They're called tax sales or tax deeds. Whenever people drop back in not being able to pay property taxes, in this case, it's because of the down economy. These people are having a tough time. At one point, she got very frustrated, and she said, well, it's not stealing because it's the law. So apparently, when the law says you can take something that's not yours, it's not stealing. And now all the law is, as you pointed out, and you talk about the Constitution that's supposed to be the highest law of the land, the law is just words on paper written down by men and women. Some of them signed their names to it, but most of us, in fact, 99.999% of us, never signed anything in regards to their laws.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You are welcome to call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Daryl.
And Chris.
And before we change gears here, we had been talking about this story out of North Carolina where Wilmington police busted some people for having 13 pounds of sugar. That a field test that, Chris, I'm glad you pointed out when you posted this on the social medias, a kit that you were not legally allowed to purchase yourself.
No.
The company that sells it says if you buy this and you are not actually a sworn police officer or municipal agent, you will be prosecuted for impersonating a government agent.
Yep.
So you can't buy this to test to make sure that butt cake that you just made doesn't come up as some kind of, fentanyl-laced edible.
I think the important thing is I look at this stuff sort of like open source software. I want companies to put their products out there freely, not saying for free, but I'm saying freely, so that they can get torn apart and they can find weaknesses. That's what's great about open source software.
Right.
You release it and you've got all these people that have a real interest in finding out if there's a bug. Well,
right.
People need to do that with these things that we call gospel, like field test kits, that every year we hear about more ridiculous stories of these things being misidentifying what they're intended to find.
Right, and I'm glad you mentioned open source software because you and I both big fans of cryptocurrencies, which are open source softwares, where you want to go verify the code. You know how to read code. I don't. Somebody does. Go look, make sure, yep, this is the thing, and it's going to do what it says it's going to do. Now, if you want to help other people, and you don't have to be able to read code to use cryptocurrency. And if you want to help other people get into using cryptocurrency, then let me introduce you to CryptoTip. CryptoTip is a printable business card size tip that you give to a service provider, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it brings up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and then allows them to claim the amount that you decide to put on the tip. And here's the best part. If they don't claim the tip after a period of time, and you can set this, it's either 1, 2, 3, 6, or 12 months. If they don't claim it during that time, you get the cryptocurrency refunded to you. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email notification saying, hey, somebody just claimed some cryptocurrency that you left them. Create as many as you want. CryptoTip.org. Handy little piece of information. It is 6 crypto tips per page. So if you're trying to figure out, I want to create 2 pages of these, how many is that? That would be 12. 6 per page. Excellent outreach tool. Again, business card sized, printable cryptocurrency tips that if not redeemed, they come back to you. Now you can use both Dash and Bitcoin Cash at CryptoTip.org, and I understand that more currencies might be on the way in the not-too-distant future. CryptoTip.org. Now let's change from open source software back to another topic of, well, not software per se that is closed, but lack of government transparency in some respect, but also government misrepresentation of facts, if you will. Because, Chris, I know you've heard this myth, and I've heard this myth before, where various government agents will say, I could make so much more in the private sector.
Yes, they'd love to say that.
They love to say that, but is it true? Fee has done the research for us and looked into the numbers. They say compensation for federal and state and local government employees cost American taxpayers $1.9 trillion in 2016.
Hold on, Daryl. I thought you said trillion. I think you meant million.
No, trillion with a T.
No. You meant billion. Maybe $1 billion.
No, trillion dollars. $1.9 trillion. in 2016. This amounts to an average of $15,176 from every household in the United States.
Yeah.
President Trump recently moved to rein in some of these costs by canceling pay raises for federal civilian employees. Not cutting pay, canceling pay raises. So just
there you go,
whatever you're
Daryl.
making now, it's going to stay the same. It's going to be huge. Continuing on, again, canceling these pay raises, who received $331 billion in compensation during 2017. So again, he can only do things for federal employees.
Correct.
That $1.9 trillion was after adding in all of the state and municipal and county employees. Some politicians and an association of federal employees have criticized Trump for this action, again, of just knocking off pay raises, saying that federal workers are underpaid and deserve to be compensated higher. However, a broad range of studies have found that most federal civilian employees are paid better than comparable workers in the private sector. When private sector incomes rise, federal law generally requires across-the-board pay raises for most federal civilian employees.
This it's just insane. And I'm sorry that this is where we have come to, and the tenor of this article certainly says that one could never discuss reducing wages. You could. I mean, it's not too much of a hot button topic that we can't do it. We can freeze them where they're at. But my God, if you got people that are already overpaid compared to the private sector.
Right.
Keep that in mind. Overpaid compared to a comparable job in the public sector. They are making too much money in that government job. By any rationale, if you were a regular employer and you were looking at how much you're paying everybody, how much does Susie make over there in accounting? Oh my God, we're paying her 15% more than an accountant with her experience. In this market, in this same town. We've got to do something about this.
Right. And one thing that is interesting here, and they don't necessarily mention in the words I'm about to use, but they do mention when private sector incomes rise, federal law generally requires across-the-board pay raises for most federal civilian employees.
Right.
In other words, and you often hear this statistic when the minimum wage is discussed.
Right.
Of when minimum wage goes up, 50% of the workforce or 80% or some outlandish number benefits.
Yeah.
Do you know how they calculate that?
Well,
and it's misleading because they try, based on the words that they use, they try to make you believe that some huge percentage of the workforce is only making minimum wage.
Right. And that's
no.
Not true.
They're talking about these federal employees and also private union employees.
Thank you, Daryl.
Where the pay is tied to minimum wage.
Yes, and that is a huge thing.
You make minimum wage plus X.
Right. And if that's how your union contract happens to work, and you're a UAW worker or you're Seamstresses of America or something like that.
You're some guy working at GM making $25 an hour. Minimum wage goes up by $3. You just got a $3 per hour pay raise minimum based on the wording of the union agreement.
Correct. And the last major employer I worked for was a union shop, and they wanted to see those minimum wage increases every chance they could get. But we're not talking necessarily about those jobs. What we're talking about are these, federal government jobs.
Right.
But here's a little sneak peek for you guys behind the curtain. Most federal government jobs, I don't know if it's most, but a huge number of them are union jobs.
Yes.
Yes.
Most union employees now are government employees.
Right. They don't work for private companies. Most private companies have booted unions out, or unions have left there, or they weren't effective.
Right.
Basically, what it comes down to is workers deciding, after unions did get, school kids out of the coal mines and stuff like that. And there were some horror stories. In the early 1900s, there were some stories that There was a reason that the idea of unions became popular and the reason they were embraced by workers. But those days are gone.
Yeah.
Now it's just used for power, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of power. And again, we'll get back into this story, plus your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts? Do you think that federal employees are actually overpaid? It's what the numbers say, but, you can disagree with facts if you want to. This is Free Talk Live.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Get relief for your neck or back pain when you search Amazon for Sunshine Pillows, heating wraps, and pads, often listed as an Amazon choice.
Why take another pill?
Now, from Sunny Bay and by customer demand, we introduce our extra long neck heating wrap, a complete wrap, wide and hands-free, and brings fast relief to those who suffer from neck or back pain.
You can easily find Sunshine Pillows on Amazon.
Or search Amazon for our new Sunny Bay disposable heat pads. Or look for Sunny Bay heated neck wraps for relief from back pain to menstrual pain and cramps.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
See why our company, Biomed DB Design, has a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. Just go to Amazon.com and search Sunny Bay, or call us 253-678-1361.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, September 6th, 2018. Silver's trading at $14.23 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,205 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,408. Antiwar.com reports UN officials are once again expressing hope that fighting, which has raged in the Libyan capital of Tripoli over the past 2 weeks, is over with the announcement of a new ceasefire between the UN-backed Unity government and a militia. The two sides have been fighting through several ceasefires in that time and has centered on southern Tripoli. At least 61 have been killed in the fighting, including a large number of civilians, with another 159 wounded. Militia leader Salah Badi is calling on fighters to take up arms against the Unity government to free Tripoli from corruption. His faction is mostly loyal to a previous Tripoli parliament and has been staging heavy fighting. UN officials continue to express concern about the fate of a group of hundreds of migrants whom the Unity government were holding in detention in that part of the city. When fighting broke out, the guards fled, locking the migrants up without food or water. There have been reports that they managed to escape, with some spinning this as a prison break. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports 11 people on an Emirates Airlines flight were taken to a New York City hospital suffering flu-like symptoms on Wednesday after scores of passengers and crew complained of feeling sick during a 14-hour trip from the Middle East. Dr. Osiris Barbeau, New York City's acting health commissioner, said lab tests on respiratory samples from the patients have yet to confirm the illness, but their histories and symptoms, fever, cough, and vomiting, indicate influenza. Some passengers in recent days had attended the annual Hajj pilgrimage to the Muslim holy city of Mecca on the Arabian Peninsula, a region where the flu virus was circulating and could have contracted the illness there. Barbeau said it was also possible the virus was transmitted between passengers during the lengthy flight. Barbeau said all who were hospitalized were in stable condition and none were in need of extreme medical attention. The flu's incubation period, the interval between exposure to the virus and the emergence of symptoms, is typically 1 to 7 days, and people who are infected can be contagious before showing signs of illness. Flu is transmitted through respiratory secretion spread by coughing or sneezing. These are then inhaled by others or picked up from surfaces on a person's hands and rubbed into the eyes, nose, or mouth. The Emirates airliner, with at least 521 passengers, landed at John F. Kennedy International Airport at mid-morning and was surrounded by dozens of emergency vehicles as anxious passengers waited to be evaluated by health officials. The airline and the mayor's office said 19 people were confirmed ill. Dubai-based Emirates said 3 passengers and 7 crew members went to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center in Queens, and 9 other passengers were medically evaluated at the scene and released afterwards. CDC spokesman Benjamin Haynes later said 11 people were taken to the hospital and that the 9 others confirmed as sick declined further medical care. The remainder of the passengers were allowed to leave and clear customs, according to the airline. All were advised to call a doctor if they developed symptoms later. Barbeau said 106 people initially reported feeling sick during the flight, but the vast majority were found to be free of any illness when screened. Haynes said it was also possible that the tally of confirmed cases was limited to those whose symptoms were most obvious. Still, Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis, New York's Deputy Commissioner for Disease Control, said it was rare for so many people aboard a single commercial flight to fall ill at once. The plane, a double-deck Airbus 380 that ranks as the world's largest passenger aircraft, was taken to a location away from the terminal so emergency officials could evaluate the situation. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This week, the Forest Service rolled out a brand new Smokey the Bear campaign in which the popular mascot burns to death. They say they hope the shocking turn will get people serious about preventing forest fires for once. The new campaign depicts Smokey the Bear noticing a family leave a flame unattended. Before he can put it out, the entire forest is consumed and Smokey dies in agony while trying to fight the blaze. Despite educating the public for over 70 years, the Forest Service says wildfires have only gotten worse and it was time to take their warnings to the next level. The new ads aim to show that if Smokey the Bear can be killed by the very type of fire he works so tirelessly to prevent, it could happen to anyone at any time. So what's next for the long-running campaign? Well, now that their primary spokesperson is out of the picture, the Ad Council says the PSAs will shift focus to a new character named Little Brian. He's the boy whose family caused the fire in the first place, and he's grappling with crippling guilt over Smokey's death.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kicking off hour number 2, and you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Daryl.
And Chris with a cold. I'm just saying that in case if I sound a little more nasally than I normally do, Daryl, this time of year, it happens once usually every couple falls. I'll just get this, it starts off with a rash of allergies and then it just congests. And
so
I'm coming.
you didn't just fly back from Dubai?
No Dubai flights for me. I was not in the Congo, so we've ruled out Ebola.
No, so the reason that I mentioned, and there might be some people that have not heard the news about this, the reason I mentioned the flight back from Dubai, there was a story yesterday about an airplane that landed in JFK that had been quarantined to someplace away from the terminal because about 100 of the 500 passengers had complained about some coughing and other sick feelings.
Right.
And apparently, several of the passengers on board had been in Saudi Arabia for the Hajj, and apparently some strain of the flu has been going around in the Arabian Peninsula. And they think a couple of the passengers may have picked up the flu and then got on the airplane, and then they're coughing, and then other people are coughing, and you're on a plane with stale air. I know they recycle some of that air, but it is stale air.
Yeah, there's that, and and with what I suspect is, it feels like it was allergies maybe, but common cold.
Yeah.
What I got, it's contact, and it doesn't take more than one slip up. Like if you're a shopper and you go to Walmart or you go to your grocery store and you don't use the little wipes to wipe down your cart, may God have mercy on your soul. I mean, because that to me it's just such an easy way.
I'm just building up my immune system.
It's such an easy way to contract stuff, and
I shove my hand into the sharps container in the bathroom.
I see
I
parents.
Ain't no wimp.
I see parents bringing their kids in and slapping them in that car seat, and the kid's filthy, and
the kid starts gnawing on the handrail.
Right, and I'm not going to wipe that down.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say overly compulsive of it, but I'm conscious of it.
Yeah.
But I suspect at some point I slipped up, I grabbed something, or the fact that I work in, I run a retail shop.
You work in retail, so you've got people coming in and out of your store all day.
I do, but I also handle money. And you want to talk about something that's really filthy, money is filthy. And you're going to get the same germs getting spread around that way. So on the positive side, despite how I sound, I do feel 75% better than I did yesterday.
Good. Well, I'll tell you something that might make you feel about 75% worse.
Thanks.
You were underpaid compared to government employees.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah, I know you knew that, but there's the lie that, government employees love to talk about how underpaid they are.
I could make a lot more money if I worked in the private sector.
FEE has dug into the numbers here. And again, they start off by talking about how much money federal employees alone made in 2017. $331 billion for federal civilian employees. Once you add in state and local employees into that, it's $1.9 trillion for the year 2016, the last year that full numbers are available. When private sector incomes rise, federal law generally requires across-the-board pay raises for most federal civilian employees. The law gives added raises to federal workers in certain localities if their compensation is lower than private sector workers in those areas. The law also allows the President of the United States to overrule these raises, and President Trump recently did so, writing, quote, "We must maintain efforts to put our nation on a fiscally sustainable course, and federal agency budgets cannot sustain such increases. Specifically, I have determined that for 2019, both across-the-board pay increase and locality pay increases will be set at zero. These alternative pay plan decisions will not materially affect our ability to attract and retain a well-qualified federal workforce."
Right. Because
so he's saying that even without these pay raises,
not going to have trouble finding people.
We're not going to have any problem finding people.
Right. Because if you find people that are, I'm sorry, silly enough to want a government job, And it's not completely silly, Daryl.
Well, after 20 years, I can quit and get a guaranteed pension for life, and I just work a bunch of overtime the last year.
Right.
And that artificially raises the amount of average income that I've had over the last 5 years, and then I get 80% of that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's not silly. It's not silly. It makes huge financial sense, sadly, to have the government be your employer. And it's disgusting. It's sad that we've reached this point, but it's perfectly it's a reasonable move for somebody to make, and it's completely wrong. These should be, first of all, I'm struggling, Daryl, to even come up with a federal agency that I think deserves or needs employees. Give me one.
I'm struggling to think of a federal agency that needs to exist.
I know, and that's
if they are to exist, the Smithsonian. You need some people to make sure the museum stays open.
Make sure people don't steal works of art.
Yeah.
If you're saying that the museums need to be owned by the federal government, I'm going to challenge that right off the bat.
That's why I said my first thing was I struggle to see anything that needs to be a federal agency, but given that they are, the archivist and the museum people.
Okay, how about military? We got to have a military, Daryl, don't we?
No.
What would you do if our country was attacked?
If the country were attacked, people would volunteer to defend the country.
You don't think they'd just sit back and say, I hope somebody else takes care of these invading marauders? Or do you think they'd actually grow a set and stand up to whoever's,
Well, right after George Bush started the war for terror.
Well, I was thinking
number of people that signed up to go kill them terrorists wound up just skyrocketing.
Well, I think...
And that was under the guise of self-defense when it wasn't.
That's true. And I'll go back a little further in history, back to the 80s, when Patrick Swayze and
we were invading Grenada?
No, when a number of citizens, defended the U.S. homeland against the invading Russians.
Wolverines,
right.
Yeah.
So there you go. You got the example of Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
I think they did a marvelous job, and that's what I celebrate on Independence Day. That and no aliens.
That and, Will Smith punching out the alien and...
Yeah, but the point being is even jobs like this, and if we're talking about people that can make more money in the private sector than they can working their government job like they love to tell you, I will tell you that if you're a gunny in the Marine Corps, Blackwater or somebody like Blackwater is going to pay you a heck of a lot more than the U.S. government, and you're going to get benefits.
Right. So let's continue with the article here from FEE. Before Trump made his announcement about freezing the pay raises, the National Active and Retired Federal Employees Association asserted, quote, "This pay raise is important to keep federal pay from falling even further behind that of the private sector."
BS.
After the announcement, Republican politicians, those people that supposedly support small government.
Right.
Republican politicians in areas with large populations of federal employees criticized Trump. Congresswoman Barbara Comstock of Virginia said, "Our public servants have been getting shortchanged for years, including 3 of the pay freezes under the Obama administration."
Jeez.
Corey Stewart, running for Senate in Virginia, said, "I almost never differ with President Trump, but in this case, I do. These workers need and deserve a pay raise." So do they need and deserve a pay raise? Well, we'll actually look at the numbers and tell you how they stack up to the private sector. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733 in studio. It's Daryl.
And Chris.
And we're talking about whether or not federal employees are, as they claim, underpaid compared to the private sector. Fee has done some digging, and we'll get into those numbers here in just a second, but maybe you think you're underpaid, and maybe you want to wind up saving 5, 10, 15, 20% or more on things that you were going to buy anyway. Well, Bitcoin.com wants you to know how you can do that by going to saveatpurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, BTC. And now you can fund your account with Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Again, you can save between 5 to 33% on things that you were going to buy anyway when you shop using saveatpurse.com. You add items to your cart, you fund your account, you select your discount, and you save. Saveatpurse.com. That's save at purse, all one word, saveatpurse.com. So jumping back into the article here from FEE, again, the claim is that, and here's a quote from the National Active and Retired Federal Employees Association. This pay raise is important to keep federal pay from falling even further behind that of the private sector. And then 2 Republican politicians, you know, those people that supposedly like small government, fiscal responsibility, they have said that, quote, workers need and deserve a pay raise. Well, again, FEE has looked into these numbers. Contrary to those claims, a 2017 Congressional Budget Office study. So this is
what would they know about the federal government? Know about their own
doing
budget?
A study about their own compensation, and FEE just happened to have looked at that study and a couple other things and said, well, what do you know? The CBO compared the compensations of full-time year-round private sector workers to non-postal civilian federal workers in 2011 through 2015. It accounted for education, occupation, work experience, geographic location, employer size, and various demographic characteristics. The study found federal workers received an average of 17% more total compensation than comparable private sector workers.
Wow. That's a big number. That's, 17%. I'm just going to round it up and say it's approaching 20%. Would you like to make 1/5 more money, almost 1/5 more than you do today?
Yes, please.
Right. Would you like to be able to retire after 20 years?
Oh, well, let's dig into these numbers a little bit more, because they actually break it down based on formal education across various education levels. Federal employee compensation premiums ranged from a low of -18% for workers with a professional degree or doctorate.
So they make less working for the government.
If you have a doctorate, then your total compensation on average is 18% less than what you would make in the private sector. However, every other level of education is more, with the highest difference being high school diploma or less.
Think about that, folks.
With total compensation, and I'll break this down between wages and benefits here in just a second. Total compensation is 53% higher if you have a high school diploma or less in the government sector versus private sector. Wages for high school diploma or less are on average 34% higher. The benefits package on average is 93% higher, which means the benefits packages for the private sector are almost non-existent for people that only have a high school education.
That's very true. And I wouldn't say they're not necessarily non-existent, because we have laws, Daryl, that require people to get some benefits.
That's why I said it's almost non-existent. When the government benefits package is 93% higher than the private sector benefits package, that's almost double, which means it's almost non-existent for the private sector at that level of education.
Or that the public sector benefits are ridiculously high. And I know, I was in the military. I know that you never really thought about benefits, but I knew that I could go to the doctor. I could go to any kind of doctor I ever wanted to go to, and I've ever needed to go to a doctor.
Right.
Then I could get great care if I ever, just name it. I mean, do I get a housing allowance? Sure. Do you get money for paying for your food? Sure.
Those are both benefits that private sector doesn't get.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, we can keep going down the list. You have free eyeglasses? Piece of cake. Yep, got those. Kids need orthodontic? Yep, that's covered.
Daycare.
Daycare.
covered.
And I don't know what all the current benefits are like.
Right.
Yeah, I'm dating myself by going back to the 1930s.
For people with some college, wages on average are 22% higher in the government sector than private, and the benefits packages are 80% higher for a total compensation of 39% more in the government sector. You've got a bachelor's degree, your wages on average are going to be 5% higher.
Pretty close, but you still get a little bump there.
Your benefits package is 52% higher in government sector for total compensation that 20%.
Right.
It's actually 21,
Yeah.
but close enough to 20. So that 20% bump.
Close enough for government work. Is that what you're saying, Daryl?
Yeah. People with a master's degree. And here's where, the numbers start kind of maybe going in the realm of factual for the people that say I could make more in the private sector.
Right.
If you have a master's degree and you work in the government realm, your wages on average are going to be 7% lower than if you worked in the private sector. However, your benefits package is 30% higher.
And I think this is an important distinction. So basically, in a wages and benefits comparison, private sector versus public sector, the less educated you are,
the better it is to work as a government employee.
Yes. And if you are very highly educated, you've gone, even if you've got your master's,
right?
Your pay's not going to be that different, or excuse me, your bachelor's, your pay's not going to be that different. But as you go up into
bachelor's, still 5% higher.
It is, plus much better benefit package.
Huge benefits package.
But if you're a real brainiac and you've gone and you've
got a doctorate of ecology,
right? You're a PhD.
On average 24% lower wages, 3% worse benefits.
But Daryl, for a lot of these crazy mixed up degrees, the government's going to be the only one who's ever going to hire you, right?
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. There's more on these numbers. Let's jump into them. Plus your calls and thoughts.
Healthcare reform is confusing, but whether it's finding an affordable insurance plan, keeping your doctor, or being able to afford needed prescriptions, navigating the healthcare system has become a challenge. Control your own healthcare costs and choices with Liberty HealthShare. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of each other's medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Broadcasting to over 1,000 radio stations, GCN programming is in all of the largest markets. A GCN advertising career could be the business opportunity you've been waiting for. Companies need hardworking representatives just like you to handle their needs, while you earn residual income which can last for years. Companies are buying and they need you. Email advertise@gcnlive.com or call 877-996-4327. That's 877-996-4327.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell, they send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. Or maybe you're too shy to call in, but you still want to interact with others. Well, there are a variety of ways that you can do that. There's the Discord that we mentioned earlier, where there's a bunch of different chat rooms. We also have our own forums, forum.freetalklive.com, and those things are still active,
right?
Where people are posting regularly, and there's a bunch of different sub-forums for various things, forum.freetalklive.com. So we've been talking, and by the way, it's Daryl and Chris in studio tonight. We've been talking about the myth that federal employees could make way more money in the private sector. I just care so much about doing this thing that I'm, putting my family in poverty by working this government job or something along those lines.
Right.
And again, when looking at the numbers, on average, a federal employee will have wages that are 3% higher than private sector, benefits package that is 47% higher, for a total compensation that is 17% higher than the private sector. But again, these range vastly based on education.
Right.
Where if you have a high school diploma or less and you have a government job, you are on average making total compensation, wages and benefits, 53% more than what you would make in the private sector. If you have a doctorate or postdoctorate, then you're going to make a little less in the government sector. But one thing that the study did not account for, and again, this study done by some people that know a thing or two about federal compensation, the Congressional Budget Office, their study did not account for, quote, many characteristics that are not easy to observe or measure, such as workers' natural abilities, personal motivation, and effort.
Well, I can only speak from my own time working in the federal government So I was in the military, Daryl. You know that.
Yep.
Talked about that. In the job that I worked in, I had a lot of civilian coworkers. So I would say our location where I was doing communication type stuff of a very secret nature, about half of the people that worked there were civilian. They were not military. And I got to say, and I, as we talk about this, I'm thinking back to that time, and what could I say about those guys? They were all happy. They all had great homes. They all seemed well-to-do. None of them was there to...
They weren't living paycheck to paycheck?
God, no. And I don't think we would have characterized them as, making a ton of money. But, when I was in, we were all like E1 to E5 or E6. So we didn't make a lot of money anyway. But they drove nice cars. They had nice houses.
If you're not living paycheck to paycheck, then you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
In the U.S. There have been numerous studies, and there are some people that still wind up getting surprised when these numbers come out every single year, that approximately, I think it's somewhere near 50% of households say that they don't have $400 of spare cash that they could get a hold of.
That would just wipe them out. I get that. And I'm thinking back to these guys, and I'm thinking about work ethic, and there was not a question that they were all smart. They were all sharp, and if you ever wanted to learn anything, all you had to do was ask, and they'd be happy to teach you. But nobody in that line of work, we weren't busting our butts. We weren't leaving at the end of the day all sweaty, and if it got fixed, it got fixed. If it didn't, you turn it over to the next shift.
So let's continue with this article again from FEE. They cite an entity called Just Facts that says Just Facts is unaware of comprehensive data that quantifies such attributes. Again, those attributes being certain characteristics that are difficult to observe and measure, such as a worker's natural ability, personal motivation, and effort. However, there was a scientific survey conducted in 2001 that found the following. 59% of federal workers said securing a paycheck was more important than doing something worthwhile.
Okay.
59%. 65% said job security was more important than helping the public. And only 30%, which is less than 1 in 3 for those of you that can't do fractions.
Or you are a government employee.
30% believed their organization does a very good job or a somewhat good job of disciplining poor performers.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
And why is that? All right, because there's unions that don't allow you to punish poor performers.
Yep.
I know the boiler operator was sleeping on the job every day last week, but you can't just fire him. You didn't write him up the 3 times consecutive and have a hearing in front of us.
Right. And
for those of you thinking that I'm just making that up, I know a guy that had a union job where he was the boiler room guy, and he kept getting, awoken on his shift. The boss tried to fire him, and the union said, you can't do that. You didn't follow all of the write-up procedures.
Right.
So this guy who was sleeping on the job, supposed to, boiler room operator, boilers are pretty damn important. If one of those things, goes out of whack, bad stuff can happen. You don't sleep on the job when you're a boiler room operator, but this guy was, and he could not get fired.
Unreal.
Continuing on, the incentives for government employees to perform well are often mitigated by their pay systems. Per the CBO, again, the Congressional Budget Office, quote, for most federal employees, salaries or wages are determined by their rank in a pay schedule, and most federal employees are compensated under pay schedules, move to progressively higher grades as they are eligible. That system ensures that employees in the same type of job who have similar tenure receive similar pay.
Right.
But it limits managers' flexibility to reward workers who perform well or to constrain the salaries of workers who perform poorly. In other words,
you got coasters, people that just coast.
Let's say that you're, like sorting widgets. I don't know if there's any kind of government job where you sort widgets, but you've got
They call it logistics.
a daily quota of you need to sort out 1,000 widgets.
Okay.
Chris, you're a really good widget sorter, and you sort out 1,200 widgets in a day.
Well, that'll get you written up.
I, on the other hand, I'm not the best widget sorter. I only get 800 done a day. So between us, we're at the 1,000 average.
Right.
We've been working the same amount of time. Doesn't matter that you're, 40% better than I am. We've been there the same duration.
Yeah.
We're making the same.
And
I have no incentive to improve because I get that pay raise anyway because I show up. We're still hitting the average of 1,000 per employee.
Absolutely. And what this encourages is people to coast. Somebody else will pick it up. And we see the same thing when we see private sector unions. I saw this, firsthand at my last big, insurance job that I worked. It was a union shop, and there were people there that were just putting in. They were doing the bare minimum. Have you ever seen the movie Office Space? I'm just going to do
my stapler.
the minimum amount of work that'll keep me from being fired. And
that's my stapler. I was told that I would have my desk moved, and they put me in the basement.
Storage level B.
I love that movie. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. No, it's just fractions of a penny. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at ReadyToEatBacon.com. ReadyToEatBacon.com.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air.
When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Daryl.
And Chris.
And we'll get back into the story from Fee about government compensations versus private compensations. But first, I want to tell you about my pillow, because it's a really good pillow, and that's the name of it. It is the My Pillow. And why do I like the My Pillow? Chris, you have one as well. You've been using yours for longer than I have.
Years. Still love it.
Yeah, I've had mine for a couple of years, and it helps me get a good night's sleep because it keeps my neck and back in that straight line the way it's supposed to. That way, you know, like your head's not all twisted and whatnot, but you know, like I still toss and turn, and actually slept funny on my shoulder a couple nights ago, but that has nothing to do with my pillow. My head and neck are fine. It's just my shoulder.
Right.
But again, it keeps my head and neck in that proper position. And probably the best part about the My Pillow is, unlike other pillows, you can actually throw your My Pillow in the washer. You throw it in the dryer, and then it's usable still as a pillow. Whereas other pillows, you do that and it becomes a doorstop because all of the stuff just like lumps up. But whatever they've got inside the My Pillow, it winds up still being a pillow afterwards. And let's say for some reason you don't like it. Like, don't take my word for it. You've got 60 days to try this out for yourself. Go to mypillow.com. Get 2 My Pillow premium pillows for one low price, and get free shipping on all orders when you use promo code FTL. And remember, if for some reason you don't like your My Pillow, you have 60 days to return it for a refund of the purchase price. That's mypillow.com, promo code FTL. There's more to this story from Fee that we'll get into in just a moment. But first, to the phones, where we've got Matthew calling in from Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Metairie, Louisiana, to be specific. Yeah, the parish next door, Orleans Parish, they have issues with their sewage and water board system. If you know anything about life down here, when that stops working, you die.
Yeah, that's an issue. When you're close to sea level or below?
Yeah, they're below sea level. They're in New Orleans, thanks to the wacky French. And actually, I like to joke that only the French would build a city right next to the ocean below sea level, but I know that New Orleans wasn't always below sea level. We can thank the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for that happening by putting up levees and preventing the river from actually flooding like it does, and it actually built up. But continue with your thought, Matthew.
Well, at any rate, the Inspector General last year, after this big, giant flood happened, and turned out most of the pumps weren't running because they had some bureaucrat who didn't know what the heck he was doing, why he was in charge there, I have no idea. But And he also discovered that some employees were stealing brand new brass valves that were very expensive and selling them for scrap metal.
Of course. And
now, here's the kicker.
Yep.
This is the kicker. Just last month, the Civil Service Commission reinstated them.
For what reason? I'm going to guess some kind of wrongful termination because they didn't follow the procedures.
Right. They didn't do the 3 left-hand turns and the 4 right-hand half turns and the magic symbols and the shaking of the voodoo hoodoo stick or something. I don't know.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, of course it doesn't make sense. We're talking about government.
Wow.
Yeah. And how do you motivate people to get out there and dig those ditches and get those, pump lines and sewer lines reconnected if they know that all they need to do is join the law firm of Stand and Lean and they can't be fired?
Yep. It's sad but true. And, it's so bad. I mean, who hasn't heard a joke about, state highway workers standing like 10 of them, 10 of them standing around watching one guy dig the hole, filling in the pothole.
Oh, you heard about the one town where some guy invented a shovel that stands by itself, so they had to fire everybody.
But it's funny. It is. It's all funny until we sit back and realize that we're paying for that.
Unfortunately, we are forced to pay for that.
Yeah, and it's sad.
Any final thoughts there, Matthew?
No, that's about it. I mean, I was going to apologize to Heather for stepping on her last week. That was terribly rude of me. But she's not there tonight.
Yeah,
she'll be back.
That happens occasionally. It's sometimes difficult when you're on a phone to hear that somebody else is talking. Matthew, thank you for the call.
Call in, step on her next week.
Let's go to David calling in from Illinois. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, you guys were talking about state and government workers. Now, I work for the state for quite a while.
All right.
And could not believe how much corruption and waste and management that they did there. I mean, when I first worked there, every time we would sit down, they were like, "Oh no, we gotta turn on the coffee pot. No, we gotta sit down and wait to watch it heat up." And I was actually able to do my job, exercise twice a day, and take 8 hours a week to go to college during work time and get my work done.
And and you were getting paid for it.
It's sad. I'm not getting paid there no more.
Right.
So I couldn't deal with it. I mean, the corruption part, I went to some Republican representatives to tell them about the corruption, and I got blacklisted for it.
They didn't want to hear it, huh?
Oh no, they covered it up. They covered up bad. I mean, they were sitting there. I mean, for example, they had brand new elevators and air conditioning put in this whole side of the facility just to tear them down. And they were sitting there in one building. They were laying brand new tile down in a brand new building and then tearing it down on the other side because it was scheduled for demolition. It was a brand new building.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Illinois, that's the state where they joke that they've got the governor's wing to the state prison.
Right.
Because of the corruption.
Yeah.
They built that. We had one guy that embezzled a large sum of money. He got comp time while he was in prison. And then when they let him out, they didn't fire him beforehand, so they had to give him a job back. But here's the thing. If you go for the state, they got to pay you if you get another job more than when you start. So they had to pay him more than when he left in prison. And then since he got put in prison because he was embezzling money, he could no longer be in charge of the money, so they had to invent the position for him.
Right.
Wow.
So this is the kind of thing that it shouldn't surprise us. I mean, we know this is how it works. There will never be money left over in a federal budget because they have to spend it. If they are going to go back in, if they are going to get the automatic, 3% increase on the budget, which is just how the budget's
We're cutting the 3% to 2.9%.
Right. But,
oh my God, they're cutting our budget.
Right.
No.
But if you don't
getting a raise.
if you don't spend your budget, you're not going to get your budget.
Yeah.
That's how it works, and nobody's willing to take that chance. Go ahead.
You want me to tell you how the budget works? Every year they sit on the budget. Now, what happened was they burn up the money at the very end of the budget. They burn it. I mean, they burn it like on anything. And it's just not because they need it, because they won't get that amount next year. They got to ask for more.
Yep. And Chris, you were in the military, and I've heard other people in the military say, and David, thank you for the call.
Thanks.
I've heard them say that, right towards the end of the fiscal year, all right, guys, everybody's going to the range.
Yeah.
That's your job for the day. You go to the range and you use all of these bullets.
Yeah, for us it was...
Why? Because if we don't use all of these bullets, then we can't buy this many bullets next year. We have to use all of them.
Yeah, we do our qualifications and stuff like that, but, it was even worse in what I did because we were talking, satellite and microwave communications is not cheap stuff.
Right.
And, that means that when we're buying a couple extra spares, even though we know we're not going to need them because that piece of equipment hasn't failed in 10 years.
Yep.
We're talking tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it was painful to watch.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You have stories about government corruption. You want to talk about these numbers of government employees making a lot more than private sector? This is Free Talk Live.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value, made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com, that's gusset.com, or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it, others don't.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, September 6th, 2018. Silver's trading at $14.23 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,205 per ounce. Zen is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,408. Antiwar.com reports UN officials are once again expressing hope that fighting, which has raged in the Libyan capital of Tripoli over the past 2 weeks, is over with the announcement of a new ceasefire between the UN-backed Unity government and a militia. The two sides have been fighting through several ceasefires in that time and has centered on southern Tripoli. At least 61 have been killed in the fighting, including a large number of civilians, with another 159 wounded. Militia leader Salah Badi is calling on fighters to take up arms against the Unity government to free Tripoli from corruption. His faction is mostly loyal to a previous Tripoli parliament and has been staging heavy fighting. UN officials continue to express concern about the fate of a group of hundreds of migrants whom the Unity government were holding in detention in that part of the city. When fighting broke out, the guards fled, locking the migrants up without food or water. There have been reports that they managed to escape, with some spinning this as a prison break. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community, services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports 11 people on an Emirates Airlines flight were taken to a New York City hospital suffering flu-like symptoms on Wednesday after scores of passengers and crew complained of feeling sick during a 14-hour trip from the Middle East. Dr. Osiris Barbeau, New York City's acting health commissioner, said lab tests on respiratory samples from the patients have yet to confirm the illness, but their histories and symptoms, fever, cough, and vomiting, indicate influenza. Some passengers in recent days had attended the annual Hajj pilgrimage to the Muslim holy city of Mecca on the Arabian Peninsula, a region where the flu virus was circulating, and could have contracted the illness there. Barbeau said it was also possible the virus was transmitted between passengers during the lengthy flight. Barbeau said all who were hospitalized were in stable condition and none were in need of extreme medical attention. The flu's incubation period, the interval between exposure to the virus and the emergence of symptoms, is typically 1 to 7 days, and people who are infected can be contagious before showing signs of illness. Flu is transmitted through respiratory secretion spread by coughing or sneezing. These are then inhaled by others or picked up from surfaces on a person's hands and rubbed into the eyes, nose, or mouth. The Emirates airliner, with at least 521 passengers, landed at John F. Kennedy International Airport at mid-morning and was surrounded by dozens of emergency vehicles as anxious passengers waited to be evaluated by health officials. The airline and the mayor's office said 19 people were confirmed ill. Dubai-based Emirates said 3 passengers and 7 crew members went to Jamaica Hospital Medical Center in Queens, and 9 other passengers were medically evaluated at the scene and released afterwards. CDC spokesman Benjamin Haynes later said 11 people were taken to the hospital and that the 9 others confirmed as sick declined further medical care. The remainder of the passengers were allowed to leave and clear customs, according to the airline. All were advised to call a doctor if they developed symptoms later. Barbeau said 106 people initially reported feeling sick during the flight, but the vast majority were found to be free of any illness when screened. Haynes said it was also possible that the tally of confirmed cases was limited to those whose symptoms were most obvious. Still, Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis, New York's Deputy Commissioner for Disease Control, said it was rare for so many people aboard a single commercial flight to fall ill at once. The plane, a double-deck Airbus 380 that ranks as the world's largest passenger aircraft, was taken to a location away from the terminal so emergency officials could evaluate the situation. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, "Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic." Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Overburdened with material comforts, America's wealthy can expect another disappointing holiday this year. As Brian Scott tells us, the rich will simply be buying too many things to experience the true meaning of Christmas.
All across the country, those at the top of the economic ladder are denied a privilege that the poorest of the poor take for granted. Rather than fall victim to the rampant consumerism that seems to increase each year, the poor find meaningful joy in simple Christmas traditions, like singing carols to keep warm and hugging relatives who have not yet died. At stores like these, the spiritually bereft must scramble for popular holiday toys in a vain attempt to duplicate the Christmas-time happiness that the impoverished enjoy.
Poor people are grateful for just a roof over their heads or something to eat. My wife and I are both lawyers, so that's not enough for us. Certainly hope poor people don't take what they don't have for granted.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kicking off our number 3, and you can call in and bring up whatever is on your mind and chat with us. The us tonight is Daryl.
And Chris.
And we've been talking about this article from FEE, and they cited at some point Just Facts, something, like Just Facts as an entity. Apparently, that's where this article originally came from, was an outlet called Just Facts Daily. And again, citing the Congressional Budget Office, they found that on average, federal employees have a compensation that is 17% higher than private sector workers. And again, they break down all of these based on education level, what the actual wage difference is, and then the benefits package. And a lot of times, people don't include benefits packages when they talk about whatever, they get paid, because benefits are largely not a pay.
Right.
So when I worked for an airline, there's no real way to quantify in dollar amounts the free airline tickets.
True.
Certainly you could say, well, Daryl, you took this many flights and you went here and this is what this flight would cost, blah, blah, blah. But yet there were other employees that they would fly, a third of the time that I did.
True, but you have to look at things like that and say the benefit is there whether you use it or not.
Correct.
So, yeah, and it's one of those things that employers struggle with all the time, because this is a pretty common practice in big companies. They will, at some point during the year, you're probably going to get a total compensation report. And this is going
I've never gotten one of those things.
Yeah, but big companies love to do these, and what it'll say is, here's how much you make in salary.
Right.
Here's how much you got for a bonus last year.
Yep.
And here's the value of all these other things we did for you. You've got a gym you could use, and we value that at X number of dollars per year.
We've got a daycare. Oh, you don't have kids?
Right.
Doesn't matter. You still get a $700 per month value of daycare that you could use.
And that's the thing. It is a company trying to make you feel better.
You're a 23-year-old that has no money in the stock market, but we have stock options.
Right. And we know we pay you just over minimum wage, but if you look at this total compensation report, you'll see that you're actually making $190,000 a year. So this is a common practice, and you try to justify that. The other aspect that employers have to look at is when we're hiring, what we have to do is determine what our total cost of ownership is of an employee.
Right.
So, the number of salary plus benefits plus taxes and those other things that companies have to pay, usually the numbers that we've always kicked around was somewhere between 25% on the really low end, up to 35 or 40% you would tack on to the salary to say this is the value of the benefits that it's going to cost the company.
Right. And again, they cite a survey done back in the year 2001 of federal workers, and I would love to see a similar survey of private sector employees here, but if that survey has been done, it's not cited here.
Well, it's easy to find.
What's easy to find?
I will say it's a lot easier to find. Like, you can go to Glassdoor.com and you can look up office administrator in the town of Keene, New Hampshire. So I know it's not. I know it's not the exact same thing, but
no. I'm not talking about the wages. They actually did the survey of employees. What are your thoughts on X? And I don't know of that type of survey for private sector. So they found that 59% of federal workers say securing a paycheck was more important than doing something worthwhile. 65% said job security was more important than helping the public. Sure. And only 1/3, actually less than 1/3, 30% believed that their organization does a very good job or a somewhat good job of disciplining poor performers. And these are the things that I would love to see where the private sector falls on this. Is it a comparable amount that say, yeah, I'm just here to get a paycheck? And I would say that that number might be higher at the lower level.
Yeah.
So you're working a minimum wage job and just struggling. Hey, I'm just here to get a paycheck to try to survive.
Right.
Whereas somebody that's making, 6 figures, they might not be there just for the paycheck.
Right. There's other things that are motivating them.
Just one more thing that I want to touch on real quick, and then I was going to go to the phone, but the caller that was on there dropped off. But Chris, you've got a related story about wages that we'll jump into. Citing a 2010 study by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, again, another entity that knows a thing or two about, comparing numbers here. They found that full-time private industry workers worked an average of 12% more hours per year than full-time state and local government workers. This included time spent working beyond assigned schedules at the workplace and at home. And again, this is something that I'm guessing, some of this could certainly be a salaried worker that is doing what it takes to get the job done. But this could also be somebody picking up an extra shift because, hey, I really need the overtime.
Yeah.
Somebody, doing a 12-hour shift instead of an 8-hour shift. Hey, somebody called off for third shift. You want to pick up 4 hours and, wind up on.
Right.
So you get time and a half plus the shift differential. Yep. You know what? I could really use the extra money. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's one other thing in here that I wanted to point out.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it talks about various studies, earlier versions, other analyses and things like that. But they talk about Obama's analysis by President Obama's pay agent, the entity responsible for recommending federal locality pay adjustments to the president. That's their definition.
Yeah.
All of the studies, except for the one from Obama's pay agent, found that federal employees make more than private sector workers, with premiums ranging from 16 to 100%. So here is Obama's administration saying, no, Daryl. The private sector, they make like double what America's.
Right.
The 100% figure came from the Cato study, which did not take into account worker attributes like education. Excluding that, the federal premiums from the various studies were 16, 20, and 30 to 40, and 61%. But when you look into how they did it, they did not include any benefits in their analysis of...
That's the Obama pay agent
The pay
study.
agent, right. So it did not include benefits. Now, if we're talking, like I said, in the private sector, we always kick around numbers between, say, 25 and 25 and 45%
right.
as the value of benefits.
Right.
That's significant. That just means it's junk science and it's worth throwing out. There's no sense in even talking about it.
Right.
So I'm glad they don't.
Well, in some respect, the benefits, there are things that you get in the public sector that you don't get in private sector, like a housing allowance.
Who listening right now is working for a private company and has a huge pension coming?
Well, there are probably some people that work for like General Motors, where there's a
Yes.
union that says that you do this.
Yeah, and all employees, get a pension. The point being is there are not many companies out there that still do pensions.
Right.
It's kind of a bygone thing since the advent of the 401k. So basically, Washington can change the incentives and reduce costs, overall to employers. And if you get everybody doing it, then,
Yeah, how many private sector employees get a car allowance?
Right.
How many get housing allowance?
Yeah.
Whereas there are a lot of, especially those, like upper management equivalents in government sector, like town manager. Oh yeah, here's $1,500 for housing in addition to the $130,000 that we're paying you. Let's go to. Well, I was going to go to the Discord. We'll do that.
All right.
When we get back, plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Plus, Chris, you've got a story about Bernie Sanders wanting to stop Bezos.
Yeah.
855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts welcome about whatever is on your mind. We are talking about government employees and how much they are compensated compared to private sector employees. Chris, you've got a story that we'll get into here in just a second about Bernie Sanders wanting to do something about Amazon.
Somebody just has to do something. You know, Daryl, I'm tired of people not doing anything. People need to do something.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
even if it means stealing everybody else's income. Nike, just do it. Or something. Again, we'll jump into that in just a moment. But want to remind you, you've heard us talk about Zencash before, assuming that you've listened to the show before. If not, welcome. But we've talked about Zencash. Well, they recently rebranded, and they are now known as Horizen. Horizen is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizen platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizen will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizen, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizen.global, HORIZEN.global. And if you are a podcast listener, or if you're not, you might want to be a podcast listener because we are giving away some Zen. And the ways to enter currently are explained to you in an ad in the podcast. So subscribe, listen, and then follow the instructions. Let's go to the Discord call-in line where we've got Big Loaf calling in. Big Loaf, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
So, I was calling to ask if y'all had heard the news that Alex Jones had been permanently banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
I have not heard this news.
Yeah, permanent. Double permanent.
Okay.
Yeah, evidently he heckled some people in Congress like after a session. Typical Alex Jones, a little bit over the top, but nothing obscenely crazy, I wouldn't think. And Twitter said it.
So did he post this on Twitter, or like Twitter banned him for something he did not on their platform?
Streamed to their service Periscope live video of him asking these questions. I mean, just sort of kind of picture Alex Jones with the bullhorn, kind of antics. He didn't have a bullhorn, right? But, similar antics, right? And Twitter said that violated their terms of service under their abuse clause. It was abusive behavior, right? So, which, again, selectively enforced because he's by no means...
It's always selectively enforced.
So, how much y'all want to bet he starts his own Mastodon server?
He might.
I don't know. Would it be like protecting the gay Frogzadon?
I mean, yeah, and the Spider Goats too. I mean, somebody's got to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think if he does that, distributed social networking could, the lid could blow off of it. So, next question is, do y'all have Mastodon accounts yet? And if so,
I think those will be published. I know a couple of the co-hosts and hosts of the show do have Mastodon accounts. I haven't set mine. I started to set it up and got busy, so I have no excuse not to.
I know Ian's on Libradon, which is a server that runs and is connected to the Mastodon thing.
Yeah.
I know that there's a Free Talk Live account.
I haven't had a time to do it, but I will. Are you on there, I assume?
Oh, yeah. I'm on a different instance, but I'm still still able to follow Ian of the FTL Studio. Other people like Gene the Christian Anarchist are on Libradon as well.
Nice.
But that's the cool thing about all these instances, right? For the most part, you can follow people on any other instance. You just need to know it's practically like an email address, and you're good to go. So, yeah, look forward to y'all setting up an account so I can follow.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm excited, and Big Loaf, thank you for the call. Can't say I'm excited about it just because, I can think of, like maybe half a dozen other things over the last decade or so where everybody was all excited about everybody's moving to this service, and then like 4 people that I know wind up going over there.
It's happened like 10 times this year
because
Facebook lies and Twitter bans people. And it's a reaction.
Whatever handful of people were there, they stopped posting, they stopped interacting, and now like there's 2 people, and I don't know, there might be more than 2 people still on Diaspora, but there's not a lot of people. The last time I used it, there was like no interaction. There Liberty.me, the thing that Jeffrey Tucker was creating as a libertarian alternative.
It's going to be the big one.
And it sort of just like faded out. And then there was Quitter.no that was supposed to be some open source Twitter alternative something. GNU Social and all of these other things. And just I can't say I get excited about any of it.
I'd be excited if something truly open source, something truly resistant to censorship, and it sort of is what it is and nobody can mess with it. That idea excites me. I would be interested in taking part in that, but for social media to actually work, you have to have people. It just doesn't work. And to your point, Daryl, I mean, unless one of these gets sort of a critical mass, then that's it. I'm not a controversial guy, so I find myself I'm on Facebook so little anymore. It's almost like I'll think,
there are a handful of groups that I interact in.
Right. I should go over to Facebook and just see how things are going over there. That's how I feel. It's almost like I'm visiting a sick relative. And I spend way more time on Twitter, but I don't interact. I follow a ton of people in the crypto space, and that's my purpose for being there. I read, I get news, I see what people are talking about. I do interact more there than I ever did on Facebook, but it's just it's sort of lost its luster. So there may be hope for the world if social media continues to fade away and people actually go back to having normal conversations or speaking to each other. Or
people might speak to one another, but there's never going to be a normal conversation again.
That's gone,
because it'll all be, do you remember when we used to do this stuff on Facebook and we would share memes?
Right. Winky, what are you talking about?
Emoji smiley face.
Emoji smiley face.
Poop.
What?
Yeah, I still don't understand why like the poop emoji has become a thing, but like it has. Speaking of poop emojis, tell us about Bernie Sanders wanting to stop Jeff Bezos.
I love a good Jeff Bezos Bernie Sanders war. This is gonna heat up to be something real.
Is it going to be a rage in a cage?
It'll be a rage
Dana
in a
White
cage.
Going to wind up getting involved and putting them in an octagon in the MGM Grand?
Could be, Daryl. But here we come up, and we have to wait. Now we have to wait.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dillon Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dillon bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dillon bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dillon bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Daryl.
And Chris.
And if you like the show, then consider joining the AMP program. AMP is advertise, market, and promote. And for as little as $5 per month, you can join the AMP program, and you get perks. There's ad-free versions of the podcast. There's an AMP-only room in the Discord. There's an AMP-only Facebook group. Going back talking about Facebook, there's probably a perk or two that I can't think of off the top of my head.
I'll follow you on Twitter. How's that?
You already do follow me on Twitter.
Nah, I just meant this is my own perk I'm offering to any potential ampers out there. I will follow you.
And we've started actually thanking some of the ampers by name. Again, amp.freetalklive.com. Want to thank Robert Mayer for being an amplifier. And this is something that we just started earlier this week. Chris, you gave me a weird look like, I don't remember this happening before. Yeah, we started earlier this week. I do. Going through, starting basically from close to the beginning as the database shows.
Wow.
Here's some of the originals. So the first several names, some of these are old school. A couple nights ago, we read off Gene the Christian Anarchist. He's one of the longest ampers. So that's another perk, is you get to hear your name on the radio. Might take a while to get there, but we'll get there.
There you go.
amp.freetalklive.com. So, Chris, tell us about this war between Bernie and Bezos.
Well, I don't know if Bezos would categorize it as a war. I think Bezos hears this buzzing around his ear, like a mosquito, and it's Bernie again.
Yep.
But in this case, Bernie is moving his attack on low-wage jobs to put some legislation behind it, and he's got just the thing. Critics have frequently accused Amazon of underpaying warehouse employees to the point where staff must live on food stamps and other government subsidies. And there's now a Senate bill that puts some added weight behind that criticism. Senator Bernie Sanders has introduced the Stop Bad Employers by Zeroing Out Subsidies Act, a.k.a. the not-so-subtle Stop Bezos Act, a measure that would place a 100% tax on the government assistance workers receive at companies with over 500 employees. If an Amazon...
Hold on. Let me... Yeah, I think you're about to explain this, but I want to see if I'm understanding this correctly. Let's say that I have 501 employees.
Yep, you must be Amazon.
And no, there are a bunch of companies that have 501 employees.
You are correct.
And one of those employees winds up getting some type of government assistance.
Yep.
And I'm guessing they're not talking about your employees are using government schools and you drive on roads.
No, I think they're looking at, do they get food stamps?
Food stamps.
Right. Or did you just have a baby and are you taking advantage of some WIC program or something like that? Right.
So let's say that one of my employees gets $1,000 worth of assistance. I would then, as the employer, have to pay a tax of $1,000?
Yep. 100%. Yes, that's what they're saying.
All right.
Let me see where we got. Measure that will place a 100% tax on the government assistance workers receive at companies with over 500 employers. I know that sounds like a lot, but I can tell you I've worked for some employers in the, let's say, the 500 to 1,500 range.
All right.
And we're not talking about global, national, Amazon-size companies.
Right.
Some of those companies were, started in garages and started in, on the kitchen table. That's the type of thing we're talking about too.
Right.
If an Amazon staffer has to live in public housing, for instance, the internet giant would either have to foot the bill or pay the person well enough that they didn't need the help. Sanders introduced the legislation alongside California Representative Ro Khanna, who produced an equivalent House bill. The two characterized it as kicking billionaires off welfare, unquote, arguing that taxpayers were effectively subsidizing Amazon, Walmart, and others who allegedly refused to pay living wages.
All right, so if we're going to, as they say, kick billionaires off of welfare,
yep.
Are we also going to get rid of farm subsidies, stop municipal governments from building football, baseball, basketball stadiums and arenas, stop the corporate subsidies, or the government handouts to these things of, we'll give you millions of dollars if you have your players come stand on the sideline while we fly an F-16 over top of the stadium.
No, Daryl.
Are we going to have the National Guard stop sponsoring one of the NASCARs? Is Army and Navy going to stop sponsoring NASCARs? Because that's basically welfare for millionaires and billionaires.
No, Daryl. The point is those things don't play well. They don't create the right response with voters. So today, the hot button
so it's only the subsidies that he opposes that aren't really subsidies.
Well, yeah, and Amazon plays really well right now. It tugs at the heartstrings. So forget any rationale. There's no rationale to coming in and saying we're going to tax this company 100% because, God forbid, some of their people take advantage of all the same stupid programs that we created and said anybody can apply for.
Yeah.
It's insane. It is complete insanity. And this is what happens when you begin to believe that the government can solve all ills.
Right. And there's more to this article we'll get to in just a second. But first to the Discord where we've got David calling in. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, yeah, I had my own thing, but I'll comment on your stuff.
You can bring up whatever is on your mind. Go ahead with your thought.
Well, first of all, you were talking about dirty money, getting germs. That back to the airplane story about influenza.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever noticed that all paper money smells like strippers? You will now if you hadn't before.
Well, now you've just placed that in my head, so thanks for that.
You're welcome. And the government employment thing, there's a couple of things that are worth commenting on. I've noticed over these years that I've started paying attention various things. One of them is that, and other people have said this one as well, remember that government maintains as many government positions as possible on the taxpayer dime so that they have jobs to hand out to to reward people that have helped them, if you know what I mean. And also in calculating how much a government employee is getting paid compared to private, remember that they're not only getting paid more, but they're doing less work than their counterpart in the private sector.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're nowhere near as efficient. And I'm glad you mentioned I have to help my cousin or whatever because there's the civil servant,
right?
Whatever thing. Oh, you've got to go take this test, and it's a way that we can just sort out. And oh, you're related to the guy that does this thing.
Yeah,
from what I've heard in Pennsylvania, that's how you get a job working on the turnpike.
I believe
as one of the toll workers is you've got to be related to somebody.
New Mexico is horrible for nepotism, and
I think every place is.
Right. You were talking about as you go up the scale in education, you get to PhD level, for instance. I hear music.
Finish the thought.
When you get to PhD level, they're not paid. They're not paid as much more than the private sector as our lesser educated workers in the government. But I would say that those PhDs in the government probably wouldn't even be employable in their field in the private sector.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico-Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico-Chops with Omega-6, Omega-3, Vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico-Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don 05. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
The entire nation has been transfixed by the emotional saga of missing toddler Aaron Crawford. Police remain baffled by 4-year-old Aaron's mysterious disappearance. The Crawford family is finally speaking out, but it isn't easy.
We're taking it day by day, you know? We just miss our baby so much.
This must be so hard on everyone.
All he does is cry. I hate him.
Little Aaron was last seen in the bedroom he shares with his older brother, Denny. Authorities say he was abducted by an intruder in the middle of the night.
Denny was in the room when Aaron was taken.
Yeah, right here. Now it's just my room.
Denny, can you tell us what happened?
I was in my room. A man lifted up the window and came in.
Were you scared?
Yes, because I thought he was going to take my Xbox.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nesquik. Try Nesquik 4-packs, perfect for lunches and great for kids on the go. Look for it in the juice aisle. Snack time is a great chance to sneak extra calcium into your child's diet without making him feel like he's eating something he doesn't want. Serve up dairy-rich foods like smoothies, flavored milk, frozen yogurt, and string cheese. He'll love the treat, and you'll love knowing how good it is for him. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Chris.
And there's more to this Bernie story, I guess we'll get into in just a second. But I want to tell you what I am doing in less than 60 days. I believe as of today, it is 59 days until the New York City Marathon. I've already secured my spot on Team Innocence Project, but I would like to raise more money for them. I would like to bring in another $500, putting me at $5,000 total for the Innocence Project, and I want to have this raised by November 1st. If you're not familiar with the Innocence Project, they were founded just over 26 years ago when Barry Scheck and Peter Newfield hosted an Innocence Project clinic on the campus of Cardozo Law School. And what they thought was going to wind up just being a couple hundred cases of people that had been wrongly convicted that they could wind up help freeing through the use of DNA testing turned out to be thousands of cases, and a clear sign that the justice system needed repaired. At the time, no one imagined what their organization would evolve to become. Since that day in August, the Innocence Project has helped free 208 people who have been wrongly convicted, and they can help even more with your help and support. Go to run.freetalklive.com, and all of the money that's raised through run.freetalklive.com goes directly to the Innocence Project. None of that money goes to help me cover my travel expenses. I'm doing all of that out of pocket, and I've already got that taken care of. I just want to raise another $500 for the Innocence Project. Run.freetalklive.com.
And back to our Bezos Sanders
the
smackdown.
Bezos Bernie smackdown that Bezos is probably
completely unaware of.
No, it reminds me of the scene, and spoiler, the movie's been out for 70 years, King Kong, where the monkey climbs to the top of the building and he's swatting at the airplanes.
A great ape, not a monkey, Daryl.
It's a big giant monkey.
No, technically. Oh, damn. Am I starting to go full pedantic on Daryl? I'm not going to go there. Go ahead, monkey.
Yellow
carded me. I deserved it. Go ahead. All right. So, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just, like Bernie and all of these other, we got it. The entire Seattle City Council.
Yeah.
They're just the airplanes, and he's like, leave me alone.
Oh, my. So basically what Bernie wants to do, and he's got a cohort representative, California Representative Ro Khanna, introducing the equivalent House bill. And basically this says if any Amazon worker, or what they're saying is any company with more than 500 employees, and they require...
and they're not talking about just full-time employees either.
Right.
So... we could be, and depending on how they define company here.
Yeah.
Let's say somebody that works part-time at McDonald's, even though the local McDonald's is an independently owned and operated franchise.
Right.
Depending on how they're defining things, if somebody's working part-time at McDonald's and they get student housing while they're going to school, and then they're getting like a Pell Grant, would that be considered some kind of subsidy that McDonald's corporate would wind up having to pay a tax on?
Who knows?
Let's say the part-time janitor at one of the Amazon facilities.
Right.
Let's say he only wants to work part-time because, well, if I get a full-time job, then I lose this benefit and I lose that benefit, and I really want to keep all these benefits, so I only want to be part-time.
The politicians also pointed out that both companies were run by some of the richest people in the United States.
By both, they mean Walmart and Amazon.
Amazon, right. They can't argue that low pay is due to necessity. Main Street Alliance Director Amanda Ballantyne, which sounds like a rather wealthy name to me, meanwhile said that the pay had a knock-on effect for communities and small businesses. Amazon declined to comment on the act, although the company has already accused Sanders of distorting its treatment of workers. It claimed the workers using the SNAP program, food program, either only worked for Amazon for a short while or chose to work part-time, and said that
As I suspected.
Right, and said that a medium salary for American full-time staff was slightly higher than Sanders had indicated, $34,123 versus $28,446. That's a difference of about $6,000.
My guess is that Bernie was including all of those part-time workers, all of those seasonal staff in whatever his calculation was.
Right. And it doesn't make any sense. It didn't explain the motivations for people who left quickly or didn't work full-time, however. Again, what are your motivations for your lot in life? Whether or not Sanders has a case, the bill still has a long way to go, even if it passes the Senate, and that's a big if. The House bill appeared to be in committee limbo as of this writing. There's also the question of whether or not President Trump would sign a bill into law.
Probably not.
It's interesting.
And my guess is that neither the House nor the Senate versions would have a veto-proof majority, so there's no way to override a presidential veto. This is largely symbolic and isn't going anywhere.
Right. While Trump has a public grudge against Amazon and might sign a bill that would punish the company, his administration has historically opposed high taxes for corporations. Regardless of its fate, the act might work if it pressures Amazon into improving pay. Well, yeah, I think what is going to improve pay for Amazon is the marketplace. If they can no longer find the necessary workers at the wages they pay, then Amazon will happily, probably not happily, but they'll increase their rate of pay. That's how it works in a free market.
They're currently
heard.
expanding. They're working on building some, campus thing to wind up getting 50,000 new employees.
Basically a Seattle 2 for Amazon, which is going to be a huge boom.
And they've not said where that's going to be yet, but most likely on the East Coast somewhere.
I can rule out Alstead, New Hampshire.
Yeah, we can rule out anywhere in New Hampshire, but Boston, the Boston area, is still one of the finalists.
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know your New England geography, Boston isn't that far from New Hampshire, so there could be a lot of people that move to, say, Portsmouth or Nashua that then get jobs working for Amazon.
Yep, and I think, regardless of where if it did end up anywhere in Massachusetts, anybody with a lick of intelligence and financial sense is going to look hard at living in New Hampshire.
Right.
It's just not going to make any sense otherwise.
Yeah. So is there more to this?
It was a short one. It was just Bernie blowing off his wacko, blowing off the Bernie wacko meter, which I think of it as. He just comes up with these crazy things, introduces them, hopes they
I've
get
got
a
an
little
idea. Let's tax the rich
Let's
at
tax them all.
500,000%
right
of their annual income, and it's only going to be the top 1%.
Right. What Bernie's after here is headlines, and he wants to get on some Sunday talk shows. That's what he's hoping for.
Let's go to Sarah calling in from Nuevo Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, so Albuquerque here, we're going to build a 24 hours day and night homeless shelter. It's a new thing.
Okay. So day and night.
Yeah, it's a day and night, and
hold on. So if it's open for 24 hours, and people without homes are welcome to go there, then they won't technically be homeless anymore. They'll be living in this new shelter. So basically, it's free apartments for people that currently don't have places to live.
Well, you know what? It's still a homeless shelter. They still are homeless because they do not have their own home. It's not like their individual apartment. I'm not too familiar with it, but it must be like a dorm room, I don't.
Oh,
think
so
it's their
college
own.
students are homeless because they live in dorms. They don't have their own apartments.
Daryl, you're just being silly now. Come on.
No, I'm pointing out that if you give a homeless person a place to stay,
you're no
they
longer
technically
homeless.
are no longer homeless if they can stay there for 24 hours a day.
Or if they can do things. So the 24-hour thing, that just, to me, sounds like they're just expanding their services for people that... Is this so they can service more people? Or does that mean I can just, go chill for 24 hours?
Well, you know what? They're saying that they need to stay safe both day and night. And it's just it's an additional homeless service, because they were going to build tiny homes. I was told, so they're trying to do a lot more for the homeless. So this is one addition. But I think it's a wonderful idea instead of shuffling the homeless people around from the
Interesting.
daytime.
Sarah, thank you for the call.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?